Good morning. Today we will start the next topic of chapter 2, communicable and non-communicable diseases. First we will discuss about the communicable diseases. What are communicable diseases? The diseases which get transmitted from one person to another person by direct contact or by indirect contact are called communicable diseases. The different modes of transmission of communicable diseases are direct transmission or by indirect transmission. By direct transmission, communicable disease can be spread by number 1, by direct contact. Infection may generally get transmitted either by skin to skin contact or by mucosa to skin contact. For example, leprosy. Second is by droplet infection. Sometimes when an infected person during coughing, sneezing, spitting or speaking releases moistures which when get inside the body of another person may make him sick. For example, tuberculosis. Third, by using an infected needle or syringes or by insect bite. For example, the rabies virus enters the body of a healthy person by the dog bite or by using contaminated needle and syringes. For example, the HIV virus enters the body of a healthy person during blood transfusion if the donor is an infected patient. Second is by indirect transmission. The communicable disease can be transmitted from one person to another indirectly. For example, there are different ways by infected food and water. For example, cholera through carriers like mosquito, housefly, rat, etc. Through clothes, towel, handkerchief and personal utensils of the patient. Through dirty hands or unwashed fruits and vegetables. Now, the next is non-communicable diseases. What are non-communicable diseases? The diseases which do not get transmitted from one person to another person are called non-communicable diseases. They are mainly caused due to improper functioning of any body parts or organs, due to deficiency of nutrients or due to hormonal disorders. For example, cataract, diabetes, heart attack, kidney failure, etc. Now, as we know that prevention is better than cure, so there are different ways by which we can protect ourselves from the infections of microorganisms. There are some important suggestions which we can follow to protect ourselves from the microorganisms, like not to face a person during cough or cold. Do not drink or eat infected water and food. Keep always the fresh food covered. To use only the fresh sterilized disposable syringes and needle during injections. To avoid contact with the infected person and avoid sharing drinks, food, utensils, clothes with him. To protect yourselves from mosquito bites by putting wire mesh doors, mosquito nets and mosquito repellents. The next topic is food preservation. Sometimes if the food is not stored properly, get contaminated. The growth of microorganisms in the food increases, which results in the bad smell, the taste of the food changes and the color of the food changes. This is called food poisoning. So the process by which the spoilage of perishable food is prevented using physical or chemical methods is called food preservation. Now there are different methods of food preservation. We will discuss them one by one. First method is heating or boiling. This is one of the most common method of food preservation. This method was first developed by Louis Pasteur. In this method, the milk is first boiled at a temperature of about 60 to 65 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. The bacteria gets killed. It also inhibits the remaining bacteria to grow. The second method is refrigeration or cooling. In this method, the low temperature prevents the growth of microorganisms in the food. Mainly the freshly cooked food items are protected from the action of microorganisms by refrigeration, like milk, meat, fish, cake, bread. they are kept in refrigerators or deep freezers. Third is dehydration of food. Dehydration mainly involves the removal of water or moisture from the food, and it can be done by sun drying. The freshly harvested crops, they are mainly dried in the sun to remove water and to protect them from the action of microorganisms. Other leafy vegetables, spices, fruits, they are also dried in the sun to protect them from spoilage. Number 4 method is by using salt and sugar. High concentration of salt and sugar also protects the food from spoilage. Next method is by using chemical preservatives. This is one of the important method of food preservation. In this method, certain chemicals like potassium metabisulfite and sodium benzoate are used to prevent the spoilage of food. Next method is by vacuum packaging. In this method, nowadays the snacks which contain mainly oils and fats, they are packed by this method, vacuum packaging. In this method, the oxygen is evacuated from the packets and then it is flushed with nitrogen to prevent the food from spoilage. Now, what are the advantages of food preservation? There are many advantages of food preservation. Some methods are: it decreases the food wastage. Second, it increases the storage period of perishable food materials. Third, it ensures the availability of out-of-season food materials. And number 4, it ensures the availability of perishable food materials even at distant places. Thank you. Hope you have understood the topic.